Now let's understand very important function in your pandas library called as iloc. So point number one. So if you remember, this is my data frame what I had. Now let's say I want to get the zeroth and the first row from this. How we can do it? One way was that I could have just directly said that df and provide in the brackets my indexes. But a more cleaner way to achieve this is you can use this function called as iloc. Now in this also you can just define your row indexes like let's say 0 comma 1, and you can notice that the first two values which is in front of you here like 3984 is showing up in front of you. Now just like your normal indexes, in the same way you can also perform everything with iloc. For example, let's say you can say df dot iloc, and let's say you are saying that I want to go from row number 1 to 3, and I want only the column number. The basically I'm defining my column number which is going to be my temp column number, right? So let's say if I do this, so you can see that this is going to anyway come, temp is my index, but you can also notice that it is returning me the value of random because the index of this name column is 0 and the index of this is random. So this is 2, sorry, random is 2. So basically this is going to be 2. So sorry, this is 0, this is 1. So because this is second column, so the index is 1. So it is going to go to the random column and going to return you the value 10, 12 because it's going to be again starting from 1 to 3, okay, which is 1 in second row. So this row is zeroth row, so it will not go. So it will go to the first row and then after that whatever the next row. So that's the reason you are seeing this value. And if you remember the similar kind of construct, we were able to do it directly also, right? So it's just a more cleaner way of writing things. Now, one more thing which you can do is that you can also play with your Boolean type. For example, right now if I just write a list with let's say true, comma, false, comma, true. Okay. So let's say if I define this and see this value. So if you recall my original df dot head value, now I have this. So notice what it is doing. Whichever row, let's say that this is zeroth row, so it's going to be true, so print that value. Second is also like your zeroth row, so look at this. So it is going to be true, so basically print the second value. It's going to be 84, so you can see 84 is also showing up. The third row have a false, so that means it is going to be now not printed. So 71 tech love will not be printed. You can see that 71 tech love is missing. Then fourth row is true, fourth row is 53 tech love, see this 53 tech love, and so on. Now after that whatever rows are there in df, it will be considered as false. So if you are not defining anything, it means comma false, comma false, comma false till your full data frame. So that is also one another interesting way to look at basically using the iloc part. Now there is also something called as lock. Let me show you a subtle difference here. Let's say so you already remember that let's say when you say df and let's say here you just define your index, let's say uh, in fact let me just put it for iloc first. So let's say when you're saying iloc and you were defining the value, let's say you want zeroth row and you want all the column. So you can notice that it was working for you, right? Now let's say I change this now to a lock. Notice it will throw you an error now. And if you look at the error, it is complaining now. You can come down and see. It is telling that label 0 is not in the index. So when you are using lock, it is basically looking for your index value. Means the index value is this 39, 84. You can't use 0, 1 and all unless and until it's a part of index. So now you can't say 0. If you want a zeroth row, you have to say 39 because this 39 index defines your zeroth row. So you can see now you are getting the output. So that is the way you have to work. Similarly, let's say you want to define multiple indexes here. So let's say you want to say I want the value for 39 index, I want the value from 84 index, I want the value from 34 index, like this. And if I do a shift enter, you can see all the values with respect to this. So 34 was occurring 2 times. So that's the reason you can see 34 is showing up 2 times here. So that is also a way you can play with this. Now, one more interesting thing about the same, like you are saying, let's say df.lock, and here you are defining the value as, let's say, 39 and 84. Okay, now you can define, like in the column, either you can just say this means that you want all the columns, or since the columns will be in order, you can say I want all the columns from name till random. You can even define like this. So if right now I have only unfortunately 2 columns, but if I have more, you can actually play with this syntax. So you can just not put all the columns, but just give a range that you want from this column, starting from this column to this column. So you will notice that it is going to return you name and random. So like that also you can work on. One more interesting thing, just like with iloc you were able to play with the boolean values, similarly here also you will be able to do that. So you can say df lock and you can define your values. You can say, let's say true, comma, true, comma, false, comma, true, like this. So if you will define all these values and look at this, you can see that it's working exactly in the same way how it was working with respect to your iloc. One more interesting thing, with your lock you can also define some conditions. For example, you can say I want only the data frame values where my random column value is greater than 13. Okay, so you can see here that I'm getting only one output because in my data set I have, let's say, only one output with value 14. So that is the way you can also see your values. Now one more interesting thing, you can also define some sort of conditions logic together. Like for example, you can say that you want, let's say, all the values. So you have to define it with the other bracket. Now you can say here df dot random is greater than 13. Okay, and you can also put a condition here, or df dot random is equal to, let's say, 10. Notice I'm using double equal to. This is going to be my row condition and I want, let's say, all the columns. You can see here, either if the value is 10 then return it, or if the value is greater than 13 then return it. So that is how also you will be able to provide some interesting conditions. Okay, so we will see how to also merge or concatenate my data frames. It's very interesting concept. We will see that in our next video lecture.